When my first period came, I went to my mom's cupboard, I opened it up, I found tampons, and I found pads. And I had to decide, am I gonna use tampons or pads? That was it. There are so many more choices out there today. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Nicole. If you are easily embarrassed by things like periods, you might want to skip on by this video. We're going to go in depth about all of the different options that you have when it comes to dealing with your period. We're not even messing around here. We're gonna dive right into one of the more unique products out there. This is actually called a menstrual sponge, and it goes by a few different names, and it's a little bit hard to search for because a few years back, the FDA came through and they went into places that manufactured these sponges, and they found there could actually be mold, sand, grit, yeast, and bacteria. Unfortunately, the bacteria that actually leads to toxic shock syndrome. So they told these manufacturers, you can no longer advertise this as a menstrual product because we feel it is dangerous for women to be putting these in their bodies to collect menstrual blood. Obviously, there are some people that have used them for a long time, had no negative experience with it, and the manufacturers said, we're still going to produce this product. We're just going to advertise it as a makeup sponge. However, people are definitely still using these as a menstrual product. I'm going to go ahead and let you do your own research on whether or not you think this is a safe product to be inserting into your body. But they do say you can wear it for about 8 hours. When you take it out, you rinse it, you go ahead and put it in and reuse it, and you can use the same sponge for about 6 to 12 months. Let's get into some of the reusable products out there. First on the list for reusable products is period underwear. Now there are a couple different ways that you can wear these period underwear. They actually are made with a really absorbent material in the crotch area that is made to collect your period blood. So you could wear these period underwear just as is, nothing else. The manufacturers say that they can collect about as much blood as 2 tampons. You can go quite a period of time without period. That was no pun intended. Go for a length of time without having to change your underwear. Some of the cons of the period underwear are that you would have to buy quite a few pairs unless you want to be doing a lot of laundry, and they're not going to be as convenient if you have a heavy flow day and you are traveling or you're working and you would have to go in the bathroom and completely change a pair of underwear, find a place to put the underwear to get them back to your purse or your locker and take a new pair of underwear in. So just not as convenient if you are working, but if it's a lighter flow day, then you could probably make it through the whole day without having to worry about changing. If you really love the idea of a reusable product that's going to create a lot less waste, but you're not sure you can commit to the whole reusable period underwear, another option would be reusable pads. The pads that they have are so cute. A lot of the reviews say they stay in place a lot better than the adhesive pads. They collect just as much blood as the regular pads. Now, one of the cons for me is that you do have to still handle your period products a lot more. You have to fold it up, put it into some kind of a travel bag, and take it with you back home to put in the wash. But it is going to be a lot smaller and a lot easier to, hide and be discreet about than the period underwear would be. A lot of people say that they're more bulky, so if you're gonna be wearing leggings or something more tight-fitting, they definitely show through, more like a heavy or a super absorbent pad would, and they also get pretty hot and sweaty. But I think that's really with any pad, so if you're going with the pad option, you should probably expect that you're gonna do a lot of sweating in your crotch area. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable on the hotter days. Another option very similar to the reusable pad is the Labia pad. Now this looks to me a lot like something that you would stick in your bra. What you do is you fold it, and there are a lot of different folds you can do to basically shove the pad like a taco, and you put it in between your labia. For some people that have small labia, this is not going to be very comfortable. But for other people, this can be used very similarly to a panty liner. They might put it in just on those days where they have a light flow and they just want something light to put in there, or they might use it on a day where they have a really heavy flow and they were having trouble with their pads leaking. This is another layer of protection. Some of the cons of this product are they might not fit or be pretty uncomfortable for everyone. If you have a smaller labia especially, it's going to be uncomfortable to be shoving something up into that space. The other thing a lot of people that wore it and reviewed it said was that it was very uncomfortable to wear during exercise. And the last con is kind of silly, but definitely a factor, is that they are easily forgotten because they are so small, and a lot of people accidentally drop them in the toilet, which can be kind of a messy situation or a major clog situation if you don't notice it until after you've already flushed. The period product people have really thought of it all. I had no idea that you could actually buy a period swimsuit. So crazy. What a period swimsuit is a swimsuit made with that really absorbent material in the crotch area that is meant to either catch all of your flow on a lighter or medium flow day, or be used as a second layer of protection. It can hold about 3 teaspoons of blood, which they said is equivalent to 2 tampons, but I think it does depend on how heavy the flow is, whether or not you would want to wear just the swimsuit or you would want to wear it with a cup, a disc, or a tampon. I don't know about you, but I have definitely been in the situation where I was at the beach, I thought I was going to be changing my tampon frequently enough, I misjudged it, I didn't, and had leakage. And then you have to worry about, can you see that through my swimsuit? Can other people see that? And then you have to go home and try to get that stain out of your swimsuit, and it's a bad situation. So this is a really, really cool option, especially if your period lands on something like a vacation that you've been planning and you're just like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with this. How cool is this option? Another time that people commonly experience leaking is at night. We are expecting our period products to go a really long time, like hopefully 8 hours or more, without being changed, without having leaking. We're unconscious, so we're moving around, our legs are here, there, and everywhere, and it's not uncommon to experience leaking, especially if you are wearing a pad or you have a tampon in and it can't make it the full 8 hours. So companies have come up with the loungewear called the period onesie. And this product is made to hug you snugly, have that super absorbent material that is easy to wash, does not stain easily, and make sure it collects all that blood. And in the morning, you could just take it off and put it in the wash and not have to worry about, did I put a towel down where I was sleeping? Did I roll off the towel? Am I going somewhere? And how embarrassing that I have to take this extra towel with me. It just really solves a lot of those problems. My one con and complaint about this product is that I do not like to sleep in things that are so form-fitting and tight. So I would not be very comfortable in this product. But if you are someone that likes to be snugly warm at night and you live somewhere where it gets pretty cold in the winter, this product is really, really cool. I almost forgot to ask you, do you mind hitting that like button if something I'm mentioning is totally blowing your mind, you had no idea existed, and you really want to try it out? I recently learned that Adidas jumped on board with the period products, and kudos to them because they wanted to make sure that athletes, especially teenage athletes, felt really comfortable participating in sports during their period, because there was some research done that found a lot of teenagers stopped doing sports around their teen years and when they started their periods, and a lot of times it had to do with being uncomfortable about participating in sports while they were on their period. So they came up with a spandex short and a legging that are made to be nice and snug to make sure that there's no leaking, and if leaking does occur, they have an absorbent layer to soak up that extra blood and make sure you're not staining through, because there's really nothing more embarrassing than getting ready for a big game and your team's jersey colors are white and you're not sure if you're gonna make it through that whole game without having to change your pad or your tampon, and it just leads to a whole lot of problems. And apparently it was leading to a lot of athletes not wanting to participate anymore because they just didn't want to have to deal with all that. It is not made to be the main collector of blood. Now, if you had a really light flow day, then it probably could be used solely in place of a tampon or pad, but really it's made to be an extra layer of protection to make sure that if someone does leak through a tampon or pad, this is going to collect anything and make sure that it is very discreet and no one's going to notice and you do not have to feel embarrassed. Now, a lot of the products that I've mentioned so far are ideal for people that were using pads, but not all of us are on board with pads. And I have to admit, I'm someone that does not like to wear pads. When I had my postpartum bleeding after my sons, I was like, oh, this is like the most I've wore pads in so long. And for some people it works really well, but for me it's just not very comfortable. Although tampons have always worked well for me in the past, postpartum you're a little more dry inside your vagina, and so it's a little more uncomfortable to put tampons in and out. And I just wasn't sure if I really wanted products like that up inside my body. So I started looking into other options and I found 2 really cool options. And if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you know I talk a lot about menstrual discs and menstrual cups. Both of these products are really cool. Oops. Both of these products are really cool because they're reusable, washable, and have a lot of longevity, save you a ton of money because you don't have to buy new tampons all the time. You just wash them and they last for like up to 5 years if you take care of them right. So the first one is the disc, goes up into your vagina, hooks behind your pubic bone, and catches any blood that might fall out of your cervix. And once you learn how to use this correctly, leakage is very low. This is, however, very messy, so if you feel like you're going to have to change this in a public place, this is not ideal because it's just a giant mess. Even people that have been using this for a long time say it's really hard to get this out without making quite a mess. This product is the menstrual cup. This works by suctioning around your cervix to your uterus, and it also catches any blood that you're going to lose during your period. The cool thing about this compared to the disc is that there is definitely a lot less mess when you are changing it. So even if you do have to change this at work, if you have practiced with it a few times, especially if there are individual bathrooms, this product is going to be just fine for you to use, and it's not going to be a big deal at all. With both these products, the con is definitely that you have to be comfortable with touching menstrual blood, with having your hands up in your vagina. You have to be comfortable with all of those things because it's definitely going to be getting really personal when you go to take these in and out. The last product that I want to talk about is organic tampons. The biggest difference between regular tampons and organic tampons is what they are made out of and the process of bleaching the tampon. So regular tampons are bleached with chlorine, which can lead to dioxin, which dioxin can be known as a carcinogen or a hormone influencer. That's not the right word. Disruptor, a hormone disruptor. And because a lot of people just don't want to take the risk of there being carcinogens or hormone, and they can be hormone disruptors, and nobody likes the sound of any of those things. If you already felt overwhelmed when you went through the menstrual product aisle at the store, now you may feel even more overwhelmed. I am so sorry about that, but I think it is important to know what options are out there to make sure we're picking something that is going to be the best fit for us. If you've always been interested in menstrual cups and discs, but you never really felt like you had enough information to make the plunge and just buy one, this video over here is my full review about the 4 different menstrual cups and discs that I personally tried. I wore them, I exercised in them, I said how much they cost, where I got them from, all the details you might need to know. So you're definitely gonna wanna check that out next if you're thinking about buying a menstrual cup or disc. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. It has been a total pleasure.